Hey guys, welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. If you know others that may benefit from the content we provide, please consider sharing our channel. And if at this point you are not subscribed yet, please do consider that. Now, let's get into the details of the market. We are going to keep today's video relatively short. There is a live tomorrow. So if you haven't checked out our live videos on Wednesdays, make sure to check it out. Tomorrow would be considered one of the key days as well. Kind of interesting how Wednesdays for the last few weeks, over a month now, generally it's Wednesday's redness day, but seems like the last few Wednesdays it's all been fairly key point in the market. So let's take a look at the SPX. I'm going to start off with SPX. Back to the usual. NAS is not really driving the market anymore. It is part of the market. You know, SPX cannot make new highs if NAS is not going to continue with its inverse head and shoulders pattern. But anyways, all right. So I've changed this wedge pattern to an actual wedge that we use, so it's a lot easier to see. And then there's also the potential of a rising megaphone pattern that's a lot clearer in the sense of rejections and supports. Now, of course, you can say that this lower trend line, we usually use wicks, but you see, if you were to use that, that also works. So there is potential of both kind of lower trend lines. This would make the lower end a lot bigger as well. So let's take a look at what happened today. So market was holding up decently. It was actually running a little bit earlier today, and we were looking nice to go into that 4-hour trend reversal. We found a lower high in the after hours yesterday, and then today morning we opened up, started running, but we got stuffed, big time stuffed. On NAS, that's where the big red flag is. We made new highs on NAS, higher than Friday's high, but there was a lack of follow through and it got stuffed hard. So with that red flag in consideration, and the second red flag of potentially that rejection of GP from SPX, and now we're quickly revisiting this lower trend line of the wedge, consider the possibility of bear break because of how fast we came back to revisit. Now, of course, there's a possibility that we just bounce again from here, but because of how fast we came back to revisit, just know that, understand the possibility of a bear break is now higher due to GP break, failed to make a higher high, and straight back revisit. There's a few. Today's title is must hold. The must holds. There's a lot of must holds that's coming up, and one after another. If it's lost, if we were to get bear break, then we will be looking at the next zone. First, obviously, being this trend line of the wedge. This is the pandemic trend line. Okay, if we were to zoom out, you can see pandemic low, bounce over here again, broke down on our last pullback from February 16th, broke down on March 3rd. So this pullback broke down, and now we're on that pandemic trend line again. So this is the first must hold. Second is the last, what is this, lower low? Yeah, the last lower low on the 4 hours, or even the daily. Daily is a higher low. 3,888, which lines up with the 0.382. So if this wedge, this trend line, lower trend line is to be broken, if we break bear on it, we'll be looking at 388 as the next must hold zone. And then we'll be back to looking at the target that we were originally looking at. Right around here, there's previous 1-to-1 extension rejection area lining up with a 0.5. That's the next must hold zone at 38.55, which also, now this is a triple confluence, previous high, 0.5, as well as the trend line that was keeping us down from that February 16th pullback. Okay, we can see triple rejection here before an actual break over. So this is relatively strong. Would anticipate somewhat of a reaction here. Upon the loss of that, we'll be looking at GP. But right now, key to look at is this 0.5. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2. Yeah, so that makes sense. All right. Next, wait, that is bear thesis. And what's the bull thesis? Bull thesis is if we were to break bull from here, continue to bounce from here, same idea, looking up at that 4,000 to 40.50 mark. 4,000, few targets here, 4,000, 40.20, 40.33, 40.48. So we're just going to call it from 4,000 to 40.50. That would be the target that we're looking at. If we do get to that zone, I will be going in bears heavy. Right now, still relatively light on bears. There's not a whole lot of movement. You look at this, I got asked whether if market's crashing here. Got asked whether if market's recovering here. No, there's not a whole lot of movement. Each single day, you look at this, even on today, it was 1%, 1.2%. The first day of the pullback was almost 2%. Those are not really that significant. So imagine this day. I don't know who, for those of you if you remember it. I think we played the balance here. This day was a 2.3% candle where we went straight down and then straight bounce. That was an amazing bounce play. Anyway, so bull thesis 4,000 to 40.50 remains the target. But right now the chart looks weak. Right, NAS. And this is the other red flag, the main red flag that I was looking at. It's a lot clearer on the 4 hours as the way the chart stands right now. So we broke over GP. What a strong bull move. And this is why a lot of people are asking, all right, so bulls are likely back. And that's why yesterday's video was I think I titled it as a bull's turn, but the key was it ended in a question mark. Because was it bull's turn? You gotta look at the volume. It didn't really justify this kind of move. So there was a few possible scenarios. We ran out of sellers. So then you look back, the selling wasn't that much. Doesn't make sense for us to run out of sellers based on this kind of selling. So then you look at this kind of selling. Volume was up here. This kind of bull movement, volume was not there. So today's bear volume was similar to the bull volume. Okay, now that I'm looking at it, today's bear volume was similar to the bull volume that pushed us up yesterday, but we didn't get as much of a bear movement. So on NAS, the chart still looks relatively stronger. We just need that bull volume to come in now. We did push straight over the GP, so that was a good sign. A little bit of red flag today from making new high, no follow through, straight back down. But we're gonna need to. So right now, overall, market remains choppy regardless. There's conflicts in between each indices as well. You look at early on today, NAS was bouncing alongside SPX. So we came back to 30-minute, then we were bouncing, where SPX was bouncing as well. Whereas IWM was just, so the Russell 2000s were just straight sell-off. This has been an amazing trade. I decided to take profits on Russell today, just because we were getting extended from that 4-hour 8. We continue to sell off, that's okay. Gonna expect a bounce from this relatively soon. And the other thing that you gotta look at as well, so NASDAQ, there's nothing too much to discuss aside from that new high, no follow through. The other thing that I was looking at this morning was back to this QQQ IWM chart. Remember how we're looking at weekly was extended? Well, Not anymore. Weekly has now caught up and trading above the weekly 8. From both sides of the equation, QQQ has been strong, IWM has been weak. So bigger number divided by smaller number, the chart's gonna go up, right? Now we are trading over that weekly 8. Now let's take a look at what happened on the last drop. Not saying that's gonna be the same. Last time we went over the weekly 8, the next week started selling off. So this week, next week is gonna be key to see whether if this bounce is gonna see continuation or is gonna be stuffed. Now, if it's gonna be stuffed, we will be looking at a break under this key trend line, meaning it will go into a even longer sell-off similar to this kind of price action. So far, we've had similar price action, but this is going to be key now. This key trend line, if these two trend lines, depending on how you draw it, depending on how you draw it, if both of these trend lines were to be broken, if we were to get stuffed on this move going into next week, this week, next week, then we'll be likely looking at breakdown over this trend line with more bearish action to come on NAS. So keep that in mind. All right. Let's take a quick look at VIX. Still holding that lower trend line of the wedge. Nothing exciting. And the US 10-year over 2-year starting to trend down a little bit. TLT, I think it had a pop. Yeah, so this is a 20 plus year treasury bond ETF. It had a pop. It continues to pop. US 10 years continues to drop. So no clear signals. Let's take a look at our favorites, US dollars. We broke over that trend line. We broke over that trend line today, and the key support, now we're going to have to see continuation. So key trend line broken over, and that's why the market, okay, this would give me a signal that the market is relatively weak. We're going to need to see follow through. There is still one last chance for the bears to stuff this move, and that would be rejection right off this previous high. Now that most of these, the key zone has been broken bull, and key support from previous has been broken bull. There's 92.50. Once that is broken, we'll be looking up at the very minimum 93.72. So watch US dollars. There's a little bit of upper wick forming so far today, or after hours. Gonna have to watch this very closely. All right, that's it for the market. Next up are the hottest tickers. I'm gonna keep today's video a bit shorter because we do have live tomorrow. So if you have any tickers you'd like to be reviewed, make sure to put a comment down below today's video, and we will review it tomorrow morning live. BTC continues to trend down. Nothing exciting. Broke down lower, no follow through. Bears seem to still be in control though. Next is Tesla. We nearly filled the gap today. I was looking at it towards the end of the day. 657.23 is to fill the gap. We got to 657.51. So we were off by 28 cents. This is, and you gotta be cautious here. If it were, since we didn't fill the gap, tomorrow there's a very big possibility that is continuing to be there. Whether it's gonna be a gap down, go up to fill the gap, and then continue to sell off, or it's just gonna open somewhere within this wick and continue to sell off, fill the gap, providing bulls potentially some short-term opportunity for a bounce. But based on this bounce so far, we bounced from the 0.3 we held the 0.5, bounced from there. It was not a strong bounce. So Tesla continues to be bearish. Next is TDOC. There's a decent couple of days of bull price action, but it's decreasing bull volume. Today is decreasing bear volume. Not too much happening. We are trading under the 88 again. Point. This GP hold is key. Key GP hold. We're going to need to see a little bit more follow through, or else this move is going to be stuffed. This is a beautiful setup. Nice GP hold. We're going to need that volume to come in. Looks like volume is getting ready to come in. Tomorrow going into Thursday, whether that's going to be bulls or bears, going to keep a very close eye on this. Haven't added to the position yet. Next is Apple. Inverse head and shoulder setup still in play. This 119.68 or 119.68 must hold. Which is also the GP. A lot of similar setups across the charts. Next is PLTR. Looking at this GP coming up. Gonna want to see what the reaction is tomorrow going into Thursday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, likely to hit that GP 2273 to 2296, lining up with the trend line that was key resistance before, became support, and sort of just chopped around. So this gives me somewhat of a doubt of how strong this trend line is now, because we just basically chopped around it for quite a few times. Now let's see if there's going to be a reaction tomorrow going to Thursday. Next is Wayfair. So it got up to 250 today. Oh, 256 actually. Then it was sort of a wick and rejection kind of day. Unable to actually break over that 250 zone. So this was early day. If you look at the intraday, early in the day, 7 o'clock, 7:30, straight shot up, and then it sort of retraced a little bit. Wait, that's not right. Oh, there you go. Okay, let's get a 5-minute. So early in the day, 7:30, straight shot up, then straight sell off from there. 256. A little bit sad, but we were getting a little bit extended from the 88. This, I actually like to see this. Let's see a back test tomorrow, lining up with that 88 and set up for a next leg up. This is still a beautiful setup. Monthly, still a bull flag. Okay, next. That's it for the hottest tickers, but there is one additional that I wanted to cover. And there is relatively noticeable strength coming into the ticker. This is what happens on a lot of those inverse head and shoulders pattern that you're gonna be looking at. Whether that's TDOC, Apple. I don't think PLTR had a head and shoulders pattern. Did it? Oh, it does. Okay. Yeah, PLTR. So PTON is so far the first one to confirm its head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. GP hold, beautiful, just like TDOC, just like Apple. But it's already broken over this neckline as of today. Yesterday's close was right on it, and today we gapped up and then straight buy up. Towards the end of the day, we had a bit of a sell-off, but now that it's broken over with increasing bull volume, anticipation is to see further upwards price action to come. First target I have marked is the GP of this most recent sell-off, which lines up with his previous trend line that's been rejecting us 3 times right here, which also lines up with this key trend line that's been serving as support again and again. That's 4 supports before the breakdown, and then becoming resistance. You can see rejections here. So this is a key trend line, multiple confluences, one trend line, would expect a move to right there. Timeline wise works out as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gives us 4 days. 4 more days going into next Monday. Let's watch for a follow through on PTON. Alright, gonna keep the video, gonna stop the video right here. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you have any reminder, if you have any tickers that you want to be reviewed, make sure to make a comment down below this video. We will review it tomorrow live at 6:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you're looking for that financial freedom and enjoy the content that we provide, please consider subscribing to our channel where we provide new videos daily. And remember, the best compliment you can give is by spreading the word about our channel. Thank you. Also, check out our website and Twitter. Website at totalcontroltraders.com and Twitter at _TCTraders_. We offer a subscription model to our chatting platform where trading ideas are shared, charts are reviewed live, as well as personal trade callouts with the last accountability check of 90% correct callouts for the first half of March. Hope you guys stay safe and be in control. Thanks for watching. I will see you in our next video.